All right, so we're over here on the free-to-play account. We've got Ops 42 cooking. It's got 133 days. It was about 175 or so. I was able to knock this down with some 17 helps from my alliance. Well, let's run through everything again. We just took the main account up to 55, so these refineries will probably reset as my values are going to change in my 4-star bundles. Same thing with my ship part bundles. Right now it's about 4,000, and we're looking at it, best case scenario, 370 getting paid out. These should change and go up with an ops level increase. None of this stuff should change. Borg won't change. Latinum Rush won't change. Mantis, no. Forbidden Tech, we decided that this one might change here. Yes, this Protomatter one. Right now it's costing me 1,700 for 100 of these. This will probably go to like 1,750 or 1,725. So it's a more expensive, but it's not giving you any more of a material in return. It's one of those terrible, terrible upgrade mechanics. I don't have the Monavine, so I can't see that refinery, but that would change potentially, depending on what little bracket I was in there. Armada chests, these should change. I don't know if I can see them though. Like my G4 Epic pack right now costs 40,000, and it only has the rare mining ships in it. This may change and include the 42 uncommons when I go up an ops level here and drop out those jellyfish blueprints. The rare one here, like this will change, the amount of cores will increase. But nothing else in here should really, maybe some slight tweaks to like the amounts and the payouts and things like that. None of this stuff will change because these are all 38 caps there. Territory refineries, all of this stuff should stay the same. Faction stuff. Again, the Bajoran faction store is tied to ops level, so certain things in here in terms of upgrade boxes and credit payouts and stuff should change. So let's go ahead and pull this now just to take these resources. 455 was the base payout there. These loot boxes may also change, so let's capture those. 495 per box. The rare one is 429. The epic one is 322. And our elite box is 540 for the single chest pull. Not much changes in the amounts. Usually it's just the costs that go up. It's like a 5% change in the cost and a 1% change in the materials. I think that's it. Did I forget anything that I need to document? We looked at the Armada chests. We looked at the refinery boxes. We looked at our game crashing. We'll go back and reload and see what's that. Now, the other big thing that's going to change going from 41 to 42, both the Defiant and the Talios are ops locked at 41. They're tier locked. That is going to increase. You're going to get one of the components for that. I think the Franklin is at 43 for the Franklin A for that component upgrade. Oh, we got rid of our green water. Looks like we're going back to blue. Yeah. Looks like they cleaned up all the pollution. But just looking at a couple things here. So the Defiant at tier 4 has a component That requires you to go to Ops 42 to claim the chip to tier this up to tier 5. The Talios also has the same thing. You're tier locked by this one component here, getting it to tier 5, getting it to Ops 42. You'll claim those in your respective refineries. So we'll see that change there. Voyager, I don't think, has a component lock like that. At least not anywhere that I can see. It may have been in an upgrade I already did. And then even things like the Fuchsia, there might be... Not yet. I think it's tier 9 has a component lock for the Fuchsia. And that requires, I think, Ops 50 to upgrade once you get it to tier 9. So that's not something that I'm going to have to worry about anytime soon. Other things that are going to change at 42. Looking at the research tree in the station tab. If you go all the way out here, you're going to notice some of this stuff here. It says upgrade ops to unlock. This is going to move out further. One of the other things... It's actually in the galaxy tree. The other big thing that changes at 42, I have a whole separate video I've done on this in the past. Enhanced warp cores. This particle to increase your warp range. That whole Angel in Disguise mission chain becomes completable at Ops 42. It's all part and tied into your main mission change. Like I said, I have a whole separate video about this whole thing. You can't actually complete it until Ops 42 because that's part of the mission chain is upgrade your Ops to 42. But also moving out here, some of this other stuff that's out here is going to increase. Because of Voyager, you have the warp range to get to G5 space. And we've talked about before, there's a G5 Prime out here called Prime Critical Hit Damage, this one. Increases your critical hit damage by all ships by 50%. It requires the 5-star uncommon crystal, and there's a whole, again, I've got a video about this. Several missions you can do in Klingon space that will pay you 5-star uncommon crystal as the rewards, which let you complete this, but you can't do it any earlier than 42 because of the researches that are involved. So this has a prerequisite of Survey Shield Array, which has a prerequisite of Armada targeting, which has a prerequisite of Ops or R&D 42. So 42 is the earliest you could start unlocking all of this stuff to get the rest of that unlocked and then get this critical hit damage bonus. Yeah, the warp particle research is pretty important because it's adding to every single ship, right? And the first level you do here requires this warp particle. None of the other levels after it require a warp particle. And at level 42, you unlock the first one using the warp particle. You also have the ability to go right away to the second level. So every ship gets a warp range boost of 10. Your miners, your warships, all of them just get 10 extra warp range. And that opens up a whole new world of possibilities in terms of moving stuff around. And then at 44, you get this level. At 46, you get this level. And at 48, you get the last level. So definitely some big upgrading potential right there in terms of being able to reach stuff. Sugar points out that at Ops 39, you're stuck doing with the Borg solos. That is one of the biggest changes. Because as we look out here, warp range wise, these level Borg 41 solos, if you've been upgrading your ships, these aren't that hard to do, that challenging. Your warp 50 or 60 ships can reach there. But to get to the next system, which is warp 46, which is all the way up here, requires warp 80, and your G3 epics cap out at 75. So you can only bring, your Talios can get there. You can maybe use a disco and summon other stuff if you have the right crews on, but that gets expensive to constantly keep summoning stuff out there. But getting that particle research pushes you up the extra 5 you need, so now you can get your Enterprise and your Augur and stuff out there and get that all done. So let's go ahead here, claim our trial bells real quick. If you have a jellyfish, the jellyfish can reach. Yep, that's true. You can do jellyfish Talios and summoning something maybe, or... A lot of people don't really upgrade their jellyfish enough though anymore, because you kind of don't necessarily need to. But alright, let's just double check here. We said we had no station events going on, so I don't necessarily need to worry about that. So let's just finish this up then. And let's go to 42. This is going to be kind of pricey on this account. It's about 40,000 Latinum, which is about 15% of my Latinum supply there. Just took a nice little hit. Alright, so bam, there's our upgrade. Ops 42 is part of the gold mission chain. That gave me 70 resources of each. And now we're moving on to the next mission in the main mission chain, which is called Middle Ground here. After Middle Ground, it's Middle Ground, and then there's like 4 more missions that you have to do, mission chains that you have to complete before you get to Angel in Disguise. You can view the whole mission chain on stfc.space. And now let's just go take a look at stuff that should have changed. So our refineries changed slightly. The amounts and the payouts went up. It says we can do rare and uncommon in epics, but there's none in the boxes yet. But the actual payouts did get tweaked slightly. It looks like the chests still cost about the same now, which is nice. So this is basically a free extra refine today. Ship parts should have done the same. This went up from 4,000 to 5,000. Okay, so the cost did increase a little bit on these. So we can pull that stuff. Territory, these did not reset at 42. Okay. Nothing here changed. These did not reset at 42 either. Okay, interesting. There's my transwarp coil, so I can upgrade my Talios and do that final component. You claim that right there in your refinery here. None of this stuff would have changed because it's all linked to the tier of the ship. This is also tier of the ship. Mantis, nothing changing here. Nothing changing here or with Voyager. And Forbidden Tech, we talked about this Protomatter one. This changed slightly. Went from 1700 to 1750, I think. So again, slightly more expensive now, but still paying out the same amount of materials. So, boo. That's what I say. Okay. As far as materials and stuff go, I think this went up a little bit. I think I might be having a little bit more materials available there. Let's go look at our Armada boxes. Nothing reset in the building stuff. This one increased. It went from 40K to 45,000. Now there's a full pull available, which I don't think was there before. The jellyfish is still in there. My rep might not be high enough to see the uncommons. Maybe that's why they're not there. But I would have thought the uncommons would have been added now that I'm 42. It could be a rep thing. Usually that's not the case. But that's weird that at 42 the uncommons aren't there yet. But these chests all look about the same here. And then nothing down here would have changed. Territory stuff didn't change. Away team, if I had the rep, I would already have seen the correct ship blueprints. And nothing here changed because my level bracket is still in the same, I'm still in the same bracket, going from 41 to 42. Let's look at our Bajoran store and just let's reboot, and then we'll look at our Bajoran store and see what else changed. Rare Formation Armada chest. We can look at that one again. Maybe I missed something there. You know, when the game crashes, it just gives me more time to check up and see what you guys are commenting on in the chat. Player level 42 to 43. So that did make a slight little adjustment there in terms of what it costs or what the payouts and stuff were. I don't think we captured that one before it changed, but that is something that did get tweaked slightly. And it may be something as simple as the amount of fragments might have gone from 160 to 165. Maybe the premium tokens went from 175 to 180. So the cost didn't really change, but maybe this got very minorly upgraded. All right, so Bajoran faction store. Now we get our isolinear chip. This is also what's going to let us tier up our Defiant to tier 5. This stuff did not change. I can claim my amplifiers though. My credit chest did change. This went up slightly. The cost went up slightly, so this reset. So let's grab that for the extra materials. I think that went from like 62 to 66. Gave us some epic this time around. Nice. Maybe there's a research or two that we can do there. So the costs on this did increase slightly. We can get some more badges. And then here we see our loot box. This one did go up pretty significantly. I think it was like 650 and now it's over 700. And this one went from like 4. I had enough to do one before. I think it was like 435 and I had 460. And I was like, oh, I could pull another box if this resets. But the cost on this jumped to 640 now. So, and again, probably not much of an increase in the actual payouts. Just kind of getting hosed on the cost, which is annoying. The epic one I can still pull because I have enough, but that cost also did go up, and we're not seeing a huge return on the payouts there. And we can do a 2 chest pull there as well, get the extra ship parts, get the extra credits, because credits are always helpful when you're trying to do things like Bajoran favors. Bajoran construction lowers par steel, titanium, and dilithium costs. Yeah, that seems like a good one to get as far as spending those credits. So let's go ahead and do that. 7-day chests and 30-day chests may have also changed. There might be a slight increase in the payouts in G4 materials in here too. That's also something that I didn't check out, but you're right. That would have been something else that would have gotten a slight increase. I can't pull any of them, but the payouts on these may have been marginally adjusted. Good call out there, Cookie. And then as far as going through 42, this is where you're going to start to see some of the fun stuff. So we can do the next building upgrade. That's not really a bit of a problem. So sure, let's go ahead and get that cooking. Get the academy working. And then after the academy's done, I can do R&D. But the shipyard, not only does it require the R&D to go to 42, but it requires this shield modulation research. And we were talking about that before, where some of these things now, 42 and 46, it's like, hey, you want to get to your shipyard, you want to build your new ship. Well, there's a research component involved too. And they're both in the combat tree. So you've got to work your way through some of these early 4-star. Get this one, shield modulation. Increases your shield health of all your G4 plus ships, which does include your Talios and your Defiant and Voyager. Those are 4-star ships. So you'll get bonuses to those. And then the one for 46 is Station Sabotage, which is all the way out here, which you can't even work on until you get to 45 at least. But you have to work your way through several levels of each of these different researches along the way and follow this tree all the way out here, which as a free-to-play is going to be the challenging part with only one research queue. It's going to take a while to get out here to get this done and unlocked. So it'll be something else I'll be having to commit resources to while trying to upgrade station buildings and ships and stuff as well. So let's go ahead and claim this while we're right here. It's after event reset now, so we can take care of that. But I think that's it in terms of upgrades and changes and adjustments from 42 to from 41 to 42. Giving you guys a little sneak peek about if you're, in your 30s or thinking about moving up to 40, 41, what you have to look forward to. And unfortunately, a research component is part of that.